Hey everyone, it's Epoch here, and welcome to my entry into this week's comic book cover challenge set by Alan at Comic Collector Geek. This month we're doing coloured themes. So 2 weeks ago we did black covers, last week we did white covers, and this week we're doing yellow covers. So I've dove into my personal comic book collection and picked out 10 covers that predominantly feature the colour yellow, and I've also tried to not use covers that are yellow based that I've used in previous challenges. So if you want to know what those covers were, then be sure to check out some of my previous entries into the comic book cover challenge. But right now let's look at the 10 yellow coloured comic book covers I've picked out for you. Let's take a look. First up this week is Wasp #1, which is a recent series for Wasp. I think it was a few months ago issue 1 came out. I think it's just a 4-issue miniseries, but I picked this one up just because I really like the cover. I just really like the way our uniform was there in the yellow background. This is more of a yellowy greeny background, but more yellow, I would say. The actual story of this book isn't that great. I didn't really enjoy it when I read it, so I never picked up the other three covers for the other issues, which are in a similar style. They do look good. If I see them in a pound bin or something, I might pick them up. But as it stands, I'm not paying full price for them just because the story's not that great. But this is what we're starting with. This cool kind of wasp cover here with our kind of close up of a costume there, and then that kind of striking yellow background. So that's Wasp #1. In at #9 this week is Batgirl Year One #9, which is a great Batgirl cover. I just love the her pose here on this cover. This is the last issue in the Batgirl Year One maxi series. The reason it's a bit lower down is the yellow colour is quite a pale yellow. It's not one of the most striking yellows that really make the costume pop. But I suppose in this case it does really make her costume pop because her costume's so dark against the pale yellow. Which is really cool. The Batgirl film that was cancelled, I think, would have been mainly based on this story. So it's just a great series. I really like the Batgirl Year One story, and it's just a great cover. Kind of Batgirl finally, kind of confident and ready for action there in our classic costume with that pale yellow background. So that's Batgirl Year One #9. And at #8 this week we have American Flag #16. Which is another kind of fun cover. I really enjoy American Flag. I think it's a great little series. I really enjoy each issue. Again, the reason this one's a bit lower down on the list is because the yellow in the background is a paler yellow, but still yellow nonetheless. We still see the characters pop there in the foreground. Here we have a Reuben Flag, kind of in a bus stop in this kind of Wild West bar, where he's got the punching one guy over just here, but in his other hand he's got the kind of burlesque Western girl there in his arm, which is kind of cool. So it's just a fun cover for American Flag, and American Flag itself is a fun series. So that's American Flag #16. The #7 spot this week goes to Adventure Comics #389, and this is during Supergirl's run on Adventure Comics. I really like Supergirl as a character, so I've been trying to get this whole run of her in Adventure Comics. I've only missing a few now, which hopefully get that completed soon. This is just a fun cover with a yellow background. Here we have the kind of the yellow sky in the background with Supergirl here turning this guy into stone, and there's all these other kind of stone figures behind him. It's just a really cool Supergirl cover. I really like most of the covers in this run, to be honest. But here again we have that yellow background kind of making the blues of Supergirl's costume pop there. So that's Adventure Comics #389. And at #6 this week, we have Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 11, #12, which is just another cool Buffy cover. Here we have Buffy on the front there. With all kind of a lot of the ancillary supporting characters behind her there, and they're all bathed in this kind of yellow light. I like the different shades of yellow on this cover, kind of almost giving it a golden feel. But yeah, it's mainly a cool yellow background, kind of highlighting all the many of the characters in the Buffy story at this point. So that's Buffy the Vampire Slayer Season 11, #12. In fifth place this week is Buck Rogers' 25th Century AD Free Comic Book Day edition. This was a free issue on Free Comic Book Day one year. and it reprints a lot of the early kind of Buck Rogers strips from the early 20th century. And this is just a real cool cover with a yellow background. Here we have Buck Rogers in his kind of flying rocket car there, and he's just punching off all these aliens who are trying to attack him. And this would have been a great cover for the punching challenge. It's not one I used in that challenge, but it would have been a great one to use there. There was another issue of this from Free Comic Book Day that came out the following year, which had a different but equally fun scene, but which also had a yellow background, but the yellow background was less prominent than the yellow background of this one. So I wanted to show this one for this challenge, as the yellow was more striking, and the yellow kind of background is also something you would see a lot in the Golden Age and the Superman books, and a lot of those kind of timely Marvels as well. But this is just a great kind of example of that, with Buck Rogers punching off these aliens. So that's Buck Rogers, 25th Century AD, Free Comic Book Day edition. And at number 4 this week, we have Oni Double Feature number 12, which is another kind of striking yellow background. We have these two characters here. So this is Bluntman and Chronic. This is actually their first appearance in comic books. Characters created by Kevin Smith there. So here we have Bluntman and Chronic kind of leaping forward, ready for action, with that kind of striking yellow background, making their costumes really pop and making them really jump off the page. So that's Oni Double Feature number 12. And at number 3 this week, we have She-Hulk number 1, which is from She-Hulk's most recent comic book series. It's a fantastic cover by Jen Bartel. I quite enjoy her covers. The way she draws and the way that her work is coloured as well, I really enjoy. This is a great example of a yellow background as well. Here we have the green of She-Hulk kind of posed and ready for action. The pink of the logo, and that's really accented and brought to life by that bright yellow background, which is really cool. It's a shame that the story inside isn't that great. I stuck with this series for 5 issues, but I couldn't take anymore. I just didn't enjoy the story at all, but I really love the covers. So any issues beyond issue 5 I'll be looking out for in pound bins, or dollar bins as they are in America. But I just really love this cover. It's really great She-Hulk cover, and it's really kind of brought to life, and the figure kind of popping from the page thanks to that yellow background, and great use of colour. So that's She-Hulk number 1. In second place this week, we have Betty and Veronica, Friends Forever, Go to Work number 1, or number 4 overall in the Betty and Veronica Friends Forever series. It's just another great use of yellow here on this cover. Here we have Betty and Veronica as waitresses there in their kind of pink waitressing outfits. And Veronica's tray has been knocked over, and she's about to get covered in the ice cream there, which is quite funny. And that, again, the figures really pop, and the background really pops thanks to the colour use, the kind of good contrast between the pinks of their uniforms and the teal of that kind of circle motif there in the background. And the pink again of the logo, which complements the yellow background. The yellow background really pushes the characters and the logo to the foreground, really making them pop, which is great. It's just a really fun series. I really really enjoy this Betty and Veronica series, and all the covers that come with them. And these always end up disappearing right away, so I always pick them up when I can. So that's Betty and Veronica, Friends Forever, Go to Work number 1. And my number 1 pick this week is Margie number 43, which is a Golden Age comic book from Timely Comics, who went on to become Atlas and then Marvel. This is just a classic example of that kind of Golden Age yellow, where the background's yellow, making the contents of the cover pop. Here we have a kind of Margie in this funny situation with this guy who's bought her all her gifts. And he's bumped into her there. The yellow background really makes the figures pop here, because the logo is that kind of striking black. We have the black ground, and the black of Margie's skirt and the red of her sweater really get accented by the yellow background, which is really cool. I just really love this book. This is the most recent Golden Age book in my collection. I'm up to 5 Golden Age books now, which is really fun. I like to get more. Just when I saw this cover, I had to see it. I had to get it even. So yeah, that's Margie number 43. So that was my entry into this week's comic book cover challenge set by Alan at Comic Collector Geek. This week's theme was, of course, yellow covers. So if you'd like to take part, then just dig through your personal comic book collection and pick out 10 comic book covers that predominantly feature the colour yellow. And if you use the hashtags #yellow covers and #Friday Comic Challenge, that way everyone in the community can click on those hashtags and take a look at your video and check out some cool comic book covers that you never know they may want to add to their own personal collection. And if you do the same, check out the hashtags and find other people's videos who've taken part. You may see some cool books that you want to add to your own collection as well. It's really fun at the moment. Like I said last week, there's a lot more channels taking part now, so it's cool to see so many different covers every week and so many people taking part. Really gives that a kind of good snapshot into what people have in their collections, which is really fun. So if you'd like to check out some of my previous entries into the comic book cover challenge, then please click on this playlist that's linked here at the side, and otherwise I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching.